Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I pray you have stepped into your magnificent Black nature because you are extraordinary. You truly are. And so that said, they're working on us. They've been working on us for generations, and they have not just managed with the common Black family to disassemble our connection to what fortifies us generationally so we can perpetuate ourselves into forever. And they've actually segmented certain groups, certain families, whole families even, for MK Ultra training. And so that there are loads of agents who I recognize after, because, they're all over social media, the media everywhere. And they have these interesting ways of getting to talk to you via phone, at which time they'll just start announcing weird experiences they've had that they don't realize that when you talk to one and two, three of them, they all explain almost the same circumstances. It's different for each individual, but I'm like, oh, another one who had this vision of butterflies coming out of their stomach. Is just, once you understand the whole MK thing, you go, oh, okay. And so some of these folks, there's so many of them, it's like a separate nation unto itself, these operatives. But they operate like the military, and they're at every strata of society. They're not simply the ones that they promote up into fame and fortune. There's a slew of them who are really just holding on for dear life, just like all the rest of us regular good people. And it just struck me wow, they'll all sort of describe the same thing. And their role is to just keep picking at us, as I showed in the article where they announced that mental brain boosters, you would get a vaccine, where it's just repeated the same thing, will defeat fake news. When they say that, you know what they mean. They mean defeating the truth that doesn't support this evil empire that's global. It's not just the U.S. Sigmund Freud had said when shortly before he sent his nephew Edward Bernays over to the U.S., that the United States was a great mistake. Why? Because it has to pretend that it's about the facts, and it's about nothing of the sort. But they had to come up with these really inventive ways to pretend they were telling the truth, and thereby they wound up winning the fervent faith and loyalty of their population, mostly the pink folks from all over the world, who then came over here with it's the land of the free, and that's why we got a African, white looking African giant Statue of Liberty out there, where it's in chains, and it's also representative of Lucifer. There are other things, all sorts of stuff. When you start doing the actual research, not just going, it's conspiracy theory, let me run the other way. No, when you look into the history, you find out that their paranoia about losing it's unprecedented. It's wow. And that's why they've been slowly talking everybody into greater levels of debauchery. I had posted this video. Fukushima has left them no more time, long before all the stuff that has been happening in terms of the just debauchery that they're parading in front of all of us. And yes, I'm going to get to Doechii, but this was a year ago. before I'd even did a commentary about the banana that was for sale for millions of dollars, and millionaire bought it and then ate it. That's obviously their instructions, because they're always giving out instructions. The next level of, in the last days, Satan will do as he please, have his way, okay? Aleister Crowley, all right? Or Crowley. And this thing was showcasing a runway show that took place in Brooklyn, where everybody was just ridiculously angry, clunky, awkward, impartial disrobement, very, very just I put this black man up here because they had him so hypersexualized with the high heels. And I don't know, I'm sure you remember when they had the fashion shows and they would show men with purses and high heels on. Everybody was rejecting it. Well, since I guess everybody rejected it, they're like, you know what? We're going to make you look somehow so that you don't pay attention to a housewife in New Jersey. I think they pay attention to me. Definitely, definitively. I can tell that. All right? But they don't want you taking me seriously. So over just no reason whatsoever, they took down my bigger channel because that gave me more credibility. And because the nature of human beings is to look where the big crowd is gathering, we're not going to give as much, like credence to someone who's just one of the folks who hasn't changed what I'm sharing at all. Right? So if I wanted to get more followers, I would just follow the script. Right? But, yeah, this thing was it's just ridiculous. You can go find it. Fukushima's left them no more time. It was 3 minutes and 11 seconds. But after this, they started showcasing white women walking outside their door with Coco Chanel underwear on. It was just disgusting. And that's what they want, actually, is for it to be so offensive that you can't help but rubberneck and look and go, what the hell? And people still trounce this, because even on the nasty rag Daily Mail, they had to, slow down the amount of naked white women that they were showcasing, because probably most of their audience, their readers, weren't paying any attention to it and doing like I was doing, just quick scroll by, quick. Okay? And so they got to make it more threatening, even for the white people. Well, for the white people, they put Kanye West up in there. When that chick he was with, Bianca Censori, her sister's out there looking naked as a jaybird. I think her mom was even wearing some, trivial, tantalizing outfit. It's obvious. They're behind the timeline. And so Dr. She shared with me in a message, this chick Doechii, I don't give a damn. She ain't nothing but a rehash, bigger booty Janelle Monáe. And where's Janelle now? Nowhere. We don't like her. We don't like lunatics. And she's not only up here being paraded around like this is the auction daggone block. And she also, in an interview, has said that her biggest red flag is straight men. Straight men? How the hell did you get here, girl? If it's not through not just your father, but a line of straight men all the way back to the Creator. And you ain't nothing coming out of that old friggin' twisted, out of its mind womb of yours without a man somewhere in that equation. But please, don't. Someone as vile as Doechii, whatever, When I see people, black people, naming themselves in ways that are like Italian, or you're a Paris or a Milan, or you put them both together, I'm looking at you all kinds of with side eyes, because I'm just like, come on now, right? And so the way that those two women in the interview, and that wasn't Doechii that this is Doechii, just looking terrible. Just really, this is an energy that expresses itself in a manner that affects your attractiveness, because all attempts at being humble are removed from your features. Even when she talks, she has that dead eye thing that I've noticed a lot of agents have. I'm not saying whether she's an agent or not, but definitively, yes, she is, in my firm conclusion, because she's following the script. They all follow the script, like I started out saying. They don't even know necessarily one another, but because it's a script written by their pimps, they all follow it. And that's why you just get that dead eye. I remember Can Dance and Will Dance for White People Only, Owens. She had done an interview. It was on, I think it was on CNN, or one of those large platforms, because they were just like, please, black people, please, can you start being like her? And yeah, I have to talk about that one separately, how they're trying to push Trump as, among pro-blacks support Trump. No, you don't. You can't be pro-black and supporting Trump. But anyway, Can Dance had said in that interview, and it was just a Freudian slip of the tongue talking about Freud, where she's like, back when I was alive, and I was like, that's right. Because I found subsequent pictures of her hanging out with them small hat people, married to one of them small hat people. I'm just saying, right? Back when she was alive. So there's a lot of people who get churned through those friggin' MK sex kitten. And if that's not the only thing, they're trained and brainwashed to be politicians, to be this, to be that. And they all follow the script. And so for Doechii to be on up in there, walking exactly like our ancestors were forced to walk, only she's happy about it. That is massive, massive brainwashing, generational brainwashing. Like with this super awful, obvious video that was all about the Carters managing to brainwash black us with their nonstop, just hedonistic, materialistic, gluttonistic, even though they're not fat. Oh my goodness, if they could support gluttony and not be fat, they surely would. But look at what is this? That's that fallen devil, and this is so insulting for them to call it ape, fecal matter. And it's being produced at the Louvre Museum. This thing is just like so overhyped. But they got all of us up in there in front of winged victory. They mean for the white people victory. Because there's all these, kind of brownish people in their bodysuits. This is before folks were walking around naked as a jaybird. And it's the white people. And we're supine. We're down. We're asleep, which is the way they prefer us to be. As I said, the Russian choir was singing, the ends are all asleep. And then when we wake up, we're supposed to wake up to the Carters controlling our vision of what the world is going to be. There we are. There we are. Right? And we have no clue. It's like, the babe being, they say children are born into sin. That's because they are innocent. They have no concept of what to do with themselves. And this is the brainwashing where Our whole concept of reality is these white people, and they have no freaking heads. Otherwise, they wouldn't do what they do if they could think straight. And the metaphors are just, the symbolism is so obvious when you look for it because it all follows a script. Where this whole setup here is like the uterus, the fallopian tubes, which are red on the side. And here you have the birth of what they hope will be the greatest thing the white man has ever made, which is ends. So they bring them all up on the auction block, naked as the day they were born. And these dancers even, they don't know. Otherwise, they would have refused to be in any project with Beyonce whatsoever. That woman, in my firm conclusion, is a high priestess in the Satanic Church. Her husband has confessed what he is, who he's wearing the shirt, the Aleister Crowley shirt, and just saying it to anybody who's near me. Oh, you need to get in the Church of Satan, right? And so this chick, in so many different ways, has been talked literally out of her mind. Homosexuality is the gateway perversion. And in my firm conclusion, and I could just say it is what it is, they have so much controlled opposition going on. So they could make what caused the problem seem as if it's not the problem. It's the Hegelian dialectical, argument where you just throw something out that's even worse. And so then suddenly you're like, oh, well, if I have to put up with that, then that's okay. No, they're not talking about, oh, I'm a man, even though they're acting as if they don't need men, and thereby just nonsensical. You cannot be a substitute for a man. They have contempt for straight white men. But who was Doechii up there with walking her around? But men, I don't care if they're straight or not. It is the fact that she knew in order to pull off some stupid, salacious stuff like this, is she needed a man. Unfortunately, she got the wrong ones. She got the evil ones telling her what she should be doing. How you going to encourage mindless carnality among strangers who you don't know? And there's lots of people who they've been just picking at. So they're on a thin edge. They don't know how to even be at peace with their own family members, let alone with you when they don't know you. How you going to encourage that kind of mindset in the general public? And you are anybody that anyone should be supporting. And I want to emphasize, because what they plan on doing with all of these different operatives is bashing Black us as if this is our culture, when, as I showed you, they had these pink actresses and these pink actors even at the Oscars. One of their actors came out naked as a jaybird. That's because they're the ones. They want the orgies. They want what is stated in the Bible, that in the last days the devil will have his way. Right? Doesn't mean that we have to go along with it. I'm not here to talk to Doechii. She's gone. Right? I'm just here to be a rally point for you, who you know this is crap. And because I've read in Dr. Shee's post, I read the comments. There's only one person who didn't get it, maybe two. Right? But mostly everybody was like, get out of here, Doechii. Right? Just like with Janelle Monáe when she did that other video where she was just like, I mean, if a man did a video salivating over Black women, over women like that, we would have been up in arms, we would have been screaming. But suddenly it's okay if some lesbian does it? No, it's not. I thought feminism was supposed to give respect to the woman. I thought #MeToo was all about, no, 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 don't see me that way. Well, we are a part of humanity. We are not homosexuals are not a separate race. Women are not a separate race. If Doechii and whoever that other chick was high-fiving about how much they hate straight black men, go to a little island all by your daggone self and see how that works out for a long time. Okay? Black, you and me, black men, black women, getting together. That's a separate race. Okay? And actually, we're not a race. We are the original. Everybody else is racing to outdo us, and they're failing at every single point. We do not belong in DEI, stuck together with all these woke people who are just, their practices, whether they realize it or not, are genocidal. Just go on off to that island and see how much of a race you are. And so I want to showcase, this ain't us. This ain't us. This is their stereotypes. This is going to prove it, okay? I watch an awful lot of China stuff because there are so few people out here saying the depth of truth that needs to be said these days. And so I caught this. I was like, what the hey? These are pregnant. There's all these live streamers out in China. I mean, because the Chinese economy is tanking. China is on a last leg, even though it's possible Xi Jinping might be faking it so that he could come back later on and do a Mao Zedong and, you know, look, I've reinvented myself. Anyway, it's all very detailed, but China's out. And their goods, their stuff is crap. Their military, everything is just crap. So there's a lot of homelessness. There's the food is, that's the only thing about Devil Trump that I'm like, okay, yeah, the tariffs. Okay, that's true. You had to wage the tariffs in order to encourage any kind of industry to reboot itself. We need to be getting out there building for ourselves. So it's about separation, not segregation. Okay, let's get the wording right on that one. But this is the time to start building our own factories. If you have that, that's all these rich black people. That's why I have no respect for you. All you're about is what you look like. You want to make magazines in order to be a part of the brainwashing. And then you lie to us and tell us that sexy red is why black culture is just self-destructing. What about sexy Mei Ling right here dancing? And she's not the only one, right? I'm just saying, it is what it is. But there you go. There you go, all right? This is Weimar Germany. This is them still doing what they do. And I've been noticing, because I watch so much Asian stuff, including their dramas, that's because their culture is still a little more rooted in the things that in entertainment I want to see. I can't stand the wokery. I can't watch a minute of it. I know if there's any show that has a black person in it, there's going to be homosexuality, homoism promoted and they'll trick you. They'll wait all the way to the end and then they'll put it in there, right? So I can't watch that stuff. And most of us who are in social media saying anything, it's just pablum. It's useless. Absolutely. If you're not going to go over Fukushima straight down to the core, then you are of no use to us whatsoever, because that's what all this crap is about. This is just a video, a photo that I have in here, because I'm going to keep this from the Netflix movie White Noise, where it was all about keeping black stuffed with a whiteism mindset and separated from each other. They even had to have these two, they're all professors, they're all supposed to be brilliant. This one is teaching about Hitler and how wonderful Hitler is, how violence is just so necessary. right? And that's what they're also trying to slather us with, and I'll go over that a little bit, not too much. But yeah, this is what they want. Just give us what we want. Because they're terrified of us. This is just another Netflix show I watched on called Away. And he wasn't the main character, but this black guy was adopted by a Jewish couple, and thereby his faith is Jewish. That is so wild, but I can't talk about it. I could just say, read some of the Talmud and even the Kabbalah, which Dr. She reminded me about also, that, Madonna, who's another high priestess of all of that madness. Wow. It just was like, what? And one of the scenes in this series was one of the characters had been in the hospital and had to rehabilitate himself, and so he went to visit some friends or whatever, and this whole scene is meant as instruction. And this is a movie from 6 years ago. 6 years ago. This little string of, I don't know, homage, they got the eye of homage, all this stuff is to deflect the righteous repercussions from doing evil. They weren't talking about this in the movie. It just happened to be on this character's wrist. Just like you'll see it on so many Hollywood actors and actresses' wrists. Or it just be the color red. Right now they got red all over the place. We didn't recognize that when they were walking out on that red carpet, they meant they were walking over us. Okay? Until we were just pummeled red blood mush. And so in this scene, they're celebrating one of the characters announcing, a black character announcing that they were getting married. And this is one of them. The other, I don't have his photo or whatever, but the series is still up on Netflix. And she's so happy. And I'm like, oh, look, it's a black woman. He's a black man marrying a black woman. And then I notice, look at these daggone dead flowers. This is supposed to be a happy occasion. And you don't do something like this by accident on a movie set. And everything else around it is absolutely dead. Dead. The leaves are dead. All just completely dead. Right? I'm not saying it's not the season of death, but they went a little bit too over the top. Because even at the other side of the table, the flowers are dead. If you're having a gathering at your home and the woman here, she's the owner. She's rich. She came out on a horse. Okay? I'm like, okay, I'm just saying with these folks, you never know what they're going to be attracted to, okay? And you can't afford to put fresh flowers. You have a whole estate and you don't have a hothouse somewhere with fresh flowers, and you're not going to take the dead flowers off the table. No, this is a message about how they need to keep brainwashing us. Whenever you see black movies, and I'm talking about the ones before the wokery deluge, whenever you see those sorts of things, there was always a rule. Black love is never fully showcased. Love in basketball was probably the closest thing I saw to a respectful black love, even though it got to the point where it wasn't a booty call, but they showed the sex part. I'm like, stop showing the sex part. That's not what makes the society yearn for that peculiarly human bond, where it's got disquieting features to it that could make, if you're not operating in a godly centered fashion, you could get in a whole lot of trouble, right? And so there's just like, I've gone over different movies where they'll have the man and a woman, they don't actually really kiss, even though they may fall in love. The black man and the black woman, never have a nice, gentle, loving kiss. Or it'll go straight to the booty call. So that's all part of the beguilement, so that we don't know. As the original humans, we experience all emotions with an intensity due to the force of our melanated conductivity at a level that just leaves everybody else in the dust, okay? They keep on trying to run the catch up to us, but we're not really making any effort to be what the Most High made us to be. So I'm gonna just showcase, I have this particular article from Daily Mail as a screenshot, and I downloaded the entire thing. I'm gonna, let's see now, can I, oh, I know I could do it like this. I just want you to be able to get a visual on the entire thing, because I want to showcase the comment that I made down here on this atrocious article, and I'll go back over it, but I just want you to see that I have made a comment, because this is about proof that we have no rebuttal allowed. We're just supposed to take this in as if it is our culture. So I went to look it back up again. Controversial sports analysis rants against American black culture after Austin Metcalf, 17, was murdered. And you know all about that. I am not looking into the details, because we don't have to be perfect in order to deserve freedom, to deserve the ability to control our narrative and our sovereignty. We don't need to be, because they're not. And that was in my comment. This is that super Procyon loader, Jason Whitlock, and they just want to say, oh, he's controversial. No, he's genocidal against his own people. Because you cannot be anything but that when you're sucking up to white folks enough to say something so stupid as violence is our culture, okay? And that's what he was saying in all of this. I am not going to read it, but I just want you to see that my comment ain't there anymore. Oldest, because I was the first one. Oldest, nope. It ain't there. And I even went and looked at my profile on here, and it is nowhere to be found. So let's see. What did I say that was so awful? This right here. Okay, let me enlarge it so you can see it easier. Wow. So violence is black culture, huh? I'm black, as all my family, friends, and neighbors are too. Not a one of us breaks any laws besides the ever egregious jaywalking. Read the headlines and see the truth. Violent behavior happens in every racial group. And within all of those groups, there are different natures and behaviors, so that you have a people who are making every effort using their prisoner of war nation to get it done by recruiting us to make all the naked white women look like they're normal. Okay, well, we don't have butts as big as yours. That is not the question. The question is, can you sustain society? And if these people are in charge with that radiation all over the freaking globe, no, it ain't happening. They do not want us looking closely into anything that they do, even if it's to save our lives and every single living thing on the planet's lives. We can't ever forget the Million Man March, where there was more than 1 million black men, black women, families that went to the Washington, D.C. mall and left it cleaner than it was before. No fighting, no scuffles, even though all the white people disappeared from town. They were scared to death. That is who we are. We're not them. They want nothing to do with peace, not us. We are the peacemakers. Don't follow these people, all right? They're out of their daggone minds. You express more of your individuality, your uniqueness with clothes on. Okay? Everybody got a body, right? It's simply because it's hidden, it makes it seem as if it's more tantalizing. But if everybody were walking around naked, then that's one of the things that actually increases homosexuality, because it's just too overwhelming in a devilish society, and I would say in any society. It will lead to us thinking of each other as just mere beasts of a field, when no, we are sublime thinkers and creators. We are the architects of civilization. That means you don't just ponder what's going on this instant. You are thinking about forever, okay? So, woo, clothes are way more captivating, way more fascinating than walking around like a wild beast. Go on over to 25,000-year cycle.org. I say, if you have benefited from anything that I've done and what I say and what I share, this the man. This is the brother who I'm the way I am because he freed me. He freed me with wisdom and knowledge and healing. And you can find the results of his tireless work right on over here. Oh my goodness. We be putting it in for you, family. There is no doubt. All our products, all our guidance, and you are supporting us in being of benefit to you. So yeah, I think I said all that I need to say, except thank you, especially if you've watched the entire share. That's very fortifying for my work. And yeah, I love you. I love you. Straight Black Pride is our ownership papers to forever. Peace and blessings.